I hope you're ready. This is going to be exciting.
And the ARCA restarts up we go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Hawkeye State. Tonight we're here at Iowa Speedway, where we sit in the cool night air of this beautiful racetrack. Last week at Las Vegas, there were only a few cautions in the East Division, but green flag pit stops made the last segment amazing. After the dust settled, rookie Nicholas Budimlich picked up his first pro win, while Patrick Fuller finished 4th overall for the AM win. Meanwhile, in the West Division, we had more yellow flags in an NFL game, but Daniel Selway managed to nab his first checkered flag on the pro side. While all of that was going on, Daniel Parks pulled out the AM win over on the west side, and now tonight we turn our attention to this nearly 1 mile oval where the corn is as high as the eye. So settle in and let's get ready to roll. I'm Dave Regal with your coverage of the West Division, alongside Sky Schreck, who will be covering the East Division in the broadcast booth, with the king of dual race production, Eddie Smith, on the 1s and 2s and everything in between, because we'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on V-Speed. And Sky, as we get settled in, looks like you've got a little dusk going on there on the east side. And, you know, last week at Vegas was incredible, but now tonight I can't wait to see what some of these newer drivers are going to bring to the table.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty good one here tonight. I think across both divisions, like you said, the rookie Budimlik grabbed his first win of the season last week in the ARCA East division. He's not in this race right now, and as we make our way through qualifying, he's got about 2 minutes if he wants to actually join the session here tonight. So it's going to be interesting to see if he is able to make it in and try to grab that back-to-back win in class. Right now for ARCA East, both races tonight will be at Iowa. 0.85 miles in length, 14 degrees of banking in the turns, 10 down the front straightaway. And this track newly repaved on iRacing. You see that big slick strip down on the bottom line there, that different colored asphalt. That is going to be where the speed is. You want to be there pretty much all night long.
Yeah, it's going to allow these drivers to really open up the throttle and roll this corner, all four of these corners, really. I mean, they did a great job laser scanning that new asphalt in. And, even tonight here under the lights, current temperature, ambient air at least, is 69 degrees. The track temperature, 72. So that's going to make things all but grippier than grippy. I mean, a lot of these drivers, they're going to start to slide around maybe later in this race. But, I'm afraid that we might see, quite a lot of yellow out on the racetrack tonight if drivers make some, let's just say, less than intelligent decisions.
I think the cold track here could catch some drivers out on cold tires here tonight as well, because that high side really does not have a lot of grip on it. So if you start on the outside, you try to get a jump and pass some cars high, it's going to be really, really difficult. Same on that transition from the old asphalt to the new asphalt. It can be a little tricky down there to get that car to stick, especially on colder tires. So we'll see how this works out during our ARCA East race tonight, which will be going first. And we'll have to see if the drivers can handle that transition on these really, really cool tires here for the first few laps.
Yeah, without a doubt. Hopefully nobody gets bit by that cold tire bug. And I mean, we've only got one more week after tonight before the playoffs begin. As we're here at Iowa tonight. The next week we go to Homestead, Miami, which, as somebody who's been there, what a great place for a race. Much less here in the ARCA series, because ARCA was not there the last 2 years when I was down. But, I mean, for my money, Homestead going to be a great race. And then all of a sudden we hit that round of 8. We go to IRP and Old Atlanta, then a round of elimination, Kansas and Milwaukee, and then that championship 4 gets to head on out to Kentucky.
I'm pretty excited for Homestead. Goat Locker, no matter what series we're running here, pretty much always puts on a show at Homestead. And it's not too dissimilar of a track from Vegas last week, where we saw some absolutely amazing racing. I think of the Premier Truck Race from about a year ago when they ran at Homestead. That was one of the best races I've ever seen here. I think Kansas will also be pretty good here. These drivers love these bigger 1.5 mile tracks, and they always seem to put on a show when we go to those.
Yeah, that's a NASCAR bread and butter thing. I really feel like, a lot of these drivers, they find the amount of space that there is, and even at Homestead, that front stretch can get all kinds of dicey. I saw it, in person, and it's amazing. As we focus on tonight, though, in the East Division over there, Sedarius Days, he's going to be in an EOL situation for your race, as is Doug Ellingson. He's actually not allowed to qualify and will start from the pits for aggressive driving. Oddly enough, after everything that we saw in the West Division last week, no post-race penalties. Nobody going to be starting with EOLs or from the pits this week on the West side.
Yeah, I was going to say the East race felt a little bit cleaner there than the West race. We had about 40 laps green flag straight through at the end. We're going to get ready to kick off our East race here tonight, as the drivers are just now wrapping up qualifying. And it won't be too long before we're able to get going for our grid and our race tonight. 100 laps around this 1 mile racetrack in the middle of Iowa. Start time in sim tonight, by the way, 11 p.m. This track is going to get colder and colder as we go on. Your Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award winner tonight is the 74 of Mark Whitley. Jacob Ellingson will go from the outside in the 27. Christian Angel starts third in the 79, with Tim Wilms on his outside in the 86. Row 3 is going to be the 09 of Wesley Burke next to the 85 car of Jake Ham. And on row 4, it's the 77 of Ryzen Baker with the 00 of Alan Smith. Rounding out your top 10, we got Patrick Fuller, your AM winner last week, and Jamie Libke in the 16 trying to grab her first AM win of the season. Kyle Deering in the 50 rolls off 11th. Samuel Joseph in the 65 and 12th. A lot of these AM drivers all starting right next to each other, which should make for some good racing. Mark Cofield 13th in the 97 next to Brandon Wallace in the 99. Andrew Carnes and Sedarius Days make up row 8 there in the 19 and the 45 cars. Jonathan Lawless in the 76 starts in 17th next to Joshua Unger in the 51. Last cars in the top 20 are Colton Sisk in the 2, John Herman in the 66, and then your last 3 cars on the field tonight. Not taking a qualifying time will be Benjamin Richards in the 56, Doug Ellingson in the 58, who's also going to have to start from the pits here, and Claire Sisk in the 12. Drivers going for 100 laps around this racetrack. Qualifying times for most of the field sitting around 22 to 23 seconds here. So those laps will go by in a hurry. Pit road speed, 40 miles an hour tonight. You've got 4 tire sets available, 1 on the car, 3 back in the pits. And we'll see if these drivers need them here tonight. This track doesn't chew up tires quite as much with both the repave and the cooler temperatures. So I think we'll see tires maybe last a little longer than they would otherwise over the course of this race. 2 green, white, checkered attempts if we need them, and we have needed them a couple times this season here in the ARCA East Series. 65% fuel, and as always, a fixed setup here tonight. Sedarius Days will serve that EOL penalty, and Doug Ellington is going to wait his turn in the pit box to get going here tonight. For your 2 penalties out of our 23 drivers in the field tonight, we got a lot of webcams down there, both from drivers in ARCA East and ARCA West. You see Jake Ellingson in this race, Samuel Joseph also in this one, Jamie Libke, and then some drivers from the West race like Chuck Feltz, Logan Threlkeld, George Jewell, all in that one. As we get ready to go here from Iowa, we're going to do 1 more lap under the pace car, and then it will pull off at a turn 4, and we will get ready to go. It was really Mark Whitley dominance for much of this season, particularly in the pro class. He seemed completely unstoppable, but over the last 2 weeks, his dominance has kind of faded. Christian Angel broke through to grab the win a couple weeks ago, and just last week at Las Vegas, we had another new winner, Nicholas Budimlik, in his debut, got that car into victory lane. So we'll see if Whitley can reclaim his throne here in ARCA East, or if someone else is going to come up and try to steal it away from him once again. On the amateur side, Patrick Fuller was your winner last week. He'll roll off 9th tonight, one of the higher of the AM drivers in the field, but he's going to have to contend with drivers like Alan Smith and Jamie Libke starting all around him. Pace car pulls in out of 4. On the front row, it's Mark Whitley, it's Jake Ellingson. We're green at Iowa. Great jump from Mark Whitley there. That 74 car has pulled out a big lead here over the rest of the field. Jake Ellingson sits second, and you see Angel running in third. Notice everybody is right on that black asphalt down there. You're not seeing anyone go up. Jake Ellingson is going to try it here. We'll see if he has the grip to do so. Doesn't look like it'll end up working out for him because Christian Angel got the better run down there on the bottom. He's testing that high line here early. He'll slip right back onto that repaved asphalt in 1 and 2. He's going to start to lose some time as he's got the 09 of Wesley Burke up the inside in that black and purple car. We'll see what he can do riding down on the white line. I don't think we've seen Wesley Burke run this far up here in ARCA East this season, so this is a good chance to see what he can do as he plays with the big boys tonight. Jake Ellingson will get clear of that in the 27 car, and he will take P3, but Burke is going to shove him off the corner. Does not want to let that spot go, and he'll take a peek to the inside in 3 and 4, but he just doesn't have enough momentum. He's down on the apron trying to find grip to get his way around Jake Ellingson here. Tight battles early on. Looking a little bit further back through the field. Oh, we'll hold on to here because Ryzen Baker is now trying to jump to the outside of Wesley Burke for P4. That 77 car has had a couple good runs this season, but hasn't found his way to victory lane just yet. He'll be looking to do that here tonight. See if he's able to find his way up over the course of these next 95 laps, as right now continues to run 5th after starting P7. Made up 2 spots. He's struggling to get around Wesley Burke here, which would make it 3. Burke is still in pursuit of Jake Ellingson as we're going to go a little further back here. This is that battle for the AM class. You've got Cofield right here. You've got Patrick Fuller right behind him. And then moving even further back through this field, there's battles as you see Samuel Joseph and Kyle Deering, 2 drivers who have performed really well in the AM class this year, continue to try and bring the fight to these cars in front of them. As battle for 3rd. Here comes Wesley Burke. He's down on the inside of Jake Ellingson, trying to make his way into that position off the corner. They'll go side by side. Burke had that better run on that new asphalt. He's really making a good account of it. And he is all the way on the apron. I've not seen a car just completely put the left sides on the apron and go. Ellingson is into the fence, but Burke is a little loose, so no one's really able to capitalize there. And Burke is not going to have the run. Ellingson does better on the top. He'll hold that spot as you see him side by side behind this battle. That's Jake Ham and Timothy Wilms going at it for P6. And Ham gets a pretty easy send down there through the corner. We'll see if Wilms can get the crossover. Doesn't look like it. That's Jake Ham up to P6, right where he started this race. Wilms has been in a bit of a free fall. Started up in 4th. That car has already dropped back to P7. He'll look to gather it up and gain some more spots here as we continue on in Iowa. And there is some great racing back here in the amateur class. Mark Cofield and Alan Smith. You got Jamie Libke. This is about 7 straight amateur cars right here going at it for position. Mark Cofield in the 97 is currently the amateur leader, but then you've got Libke and Smith side by side behind him. Patrick Fuller, last week's winner, tries to defend his crown. Samuel Joseph almost led some laps last week outright in that 65 car. He wants another good performance as he is going to slide up the road and almost take the 99 with him. That's going to give a little bit of an advantage to Kyle Deering there on the bottom. Alan Smith well clear now for 2nd in class of Patrick Fuller. Jamie Libke's dropped back to 4th under threat from Joseph here. We're on board with the 99 of Brandon Wallace, the one pro driver in this fight. He's looking to try to work that high side and get his way up through this pack of cars. But right now, it's really not happening. He's side by side with Kyle Deering there, and it just doesn't seem like it's really paying off for him right now as he continues to sit in that 14th position on the field, last of the 8 amateur cars, or the 8 pro cars. In fact, the other 7 pro cars are currently running 1 through 7 on the field, so he needs some good laps if he wants to make it back up to rejoin his classmates. As Joseph is trying to get a little bit of a dig going here on Jamie Libke. He hasn't been able to start anything yet. Patrick Fuller trying to get a run going to defend his AM win as Alan Smith is going to clip the fence, and that is going to bring the 13 a little closer, but it's not going to give him what he needs to actually make that pass, as Jamie Libke is still looking behind along with Samuel Joseph. These cars have single filed back out, but they are not done yet. I think it's going to be a matter of time before we see these cars get side by side battling again. So we're single file really throughout the field right now at Iowa. Just drivers trying to gather it up, get close, and find a way to make a move. This track can be a little bit difficult to pass at, especially as you go deeper into the run, and I think that's going to be even more the case tonight, as we aren't really expecting a ton of tire wear with these cooler track temps and the new asphalt here. You could see some drivers run pretty long on a set of tires and not really lose too much pace, and with there only really being about a groove and a half here up to that the end of that black pavement, can be difficult to set up the move. 99 of Wallace is going to try to set one up here on Samuel Joseph. He's not able to get anything going yet. We'll see if he can. Maybe. He's going to get the better run here off the corner, and Joseph is in the fence, so that'll be the advantage that car needs. And 99 dives it back in on the inside. Ooh, they're getting close there in the middle of the corner. These two cars aren't really racing for points in class, but they're racing for pride. The 99 of Wallace wants to get his way up to the other pro drivers. Samuel Joseph trying to stay in competition for the AM win. And Yosef is way up the road and into the wall. And the 99 is going to have the advantage. He'll get clear for P12 off the corner. Now Kyle Deering sees an opportunity to try and pounce on Samuel Yosef and get that spot back. Still single file now as we work our way down the back straightaway. These AM drivers have all got it sorted out. The drivers up front all still running single file in the order that we left them as well. Jake Ham is getting a little bit closer up to the bumper of Ryzen Baker, but hasn't been able to get anything going for 5th. Timothy Williams has fallen way off this fight. He's starting to slip back to the clutches of Mark Cofield, that amateur leader right now. As tightening up a little bit more in the AM class here, Patrick Fulder starting to fall under threat from Jamie Libke, who is starting to fall under threat from the 99 of Brandon Wallace as these cars try to join up and get some moves going. Libke sits 4th in the amateur class tonight and gets a little loose off that corner. Not a great exit for her, and that's going to let Wallace maybe pounce here, although he's up out of that black pavement on entry, and that might hurt his run. Libke pretty steady on exit. Samuel Yosef now looking behind. Jamie Libke does not have an AM win this season, but she did get very close to grabbing one a couple weeks ago. Got dumped off turn 4 on the last lap by Ryzen Baker. Ended up not winning the AM class that race, and she's been looking for one ever before and ever since. Wants to make that playoff race, and with only 2 races to go, getting a win is going to be her best chance to get in as Brandon Wallace in the 99 continues to try and find a way around that 16 car. Everybody still single file for the moment. Wesley Burke still running behind Jake Ellingson. He's been trying to make that move happen for a little bit. This might be the closest he's been in the last 15 or so laps. Burke continuing to try to ring that apron in 3 and 4, but he's going to run a little higher in 1 and 2 and arc it down to the bottom to try to maximize his momentum off the corner. Not able to really get it going, though. He'll try the same thing here, potentially. Just goes high to a little bit lower, and this might ultimately give him the run he needs. Let's see. He's a little faster than Ellingson. This is going to give him the chance to dive it up to the inside here. Wesley Burke going for P3 on Jake Ellingson. He's been trying to get this done for about 25 laps now. Hasn't been able to figure out the way around. This might be his best shot as we stay side by side through 3 and 4. The 09 continues to ring that white line, but right now, nothing much happening. Jake Ellingson has the momentum off the corner. He has the advantage at the start-finish line. Ooh, it's a big slider in for Burke. They're going to make contact. Burke is loose. He doors Ellingson up the racetrack, and somehow we still come out side by side, but now Ryzen Baker in the 77 and Jake Ham in the 85 have joined this fight with the time loss from those 2 cars. Baker might get aggressive here. He's pushing that 09 car of Burke, trying to find his way around both of these drivers, but he needs one to pass the other first because you can't really go 3 wide here. Ellingson has the advantage, and he will get clear. He'll hold P3. Burt goes to P4, but now he doesn't have that gap behind him. Jake Ham has gotten around Ryzen Baker for P5, and Jake Ham will look to make it P4 here in a second if he can clear that 09 car. Great battle going on up front here as these drivers continue to try to work this out. Jake Ellingson's a little up the road. Problems off the corner for him. Wesley Burt gets that spot, and now Jake Ham is going to sneak through as well. So Wesley Burt tried for about 20-25 laps here to get that move done, and all it took was a Jake Ellingson mistake for him to get through. Jake Ham tried to do it, wasn't able to pounce, but with Ellingson in the wall there down the front straightaway, maybe he can get it this time. We're coming up on the lap car of Doug Ellingson here. He might hold up Jake Ham. Nope, he'll pull off to the inside. Both of these cars will be able to get around, but Jake Ellingson will hold the spot and take P4 as Ryzen Baker in P6 is going to try to get his way back up through the field. He lost a couple spots in the middle of that battle. Mark Whitley, while this has all gone on behind him, has absolutely checked out. 2.1 second lead for the driver of that 74 car, trying to reclaim his crown in the ARCA East Series. Won 5 straight to start the year, but it all went wrong. Had some crashes, had some bad finishes over the last 2 weeks at Dover and Vegas. This might be his chance to get the season back on track. As Mark Whitley leads in ARCA East, we're going to send it over to ARCA West. They're getting ready to start tonight's race.
Thank you, Sky. As we get over here to the ARCA's West Division, Logan Threlkel going to be awarded the Jam Printing and Promotion Pole Award tonight here on the West Side. And, you know, all things considered, we've talked about it before, but Jam Printing and Promotions, great sponsor here on Goat Locker Racing. You're watching the GLR Glove Station ARCA Series. Starting second tonight, going to be Barrett Morton in the number 9. Starting in third position on the inside of row number 2 is Tyler Justice in the 33, with Jeremiah Holt piloting the 73 in P4. Starting in fifth position is Charles Abert alongside of George Jewell in row number 3, while row 4 is going to feature Brock Price and Dave Calvert Sr. Rounding out your starting top 10 going to be Jason Kristen and Timothy Peters back there in row number 5, while row 6 is going to feature Casey Jones and Huling Kauser rolling off 12th. Back in 13th, it's going to be Kevin Price and Daniel Parks, while 15th position tonight going to go to Charles Stevens Jr. and Thaddeus Friel in 16th. Starting in 17th is Craig Bontrager, with Daniel Selway Jr. picked up a win last week. Let's see if he can continue that tonight, while 19th goes to Alan Bergen out of St. Louis, Missouri, alongside of Chuck Pegleg Phelps, starting in row number 10. Back in 21st, it's going to be Ashton Azra Nolan alongside of Hayden Muir, with Wayne Newman and Armando Melgoza in 23rd and 24th. Row 13 featuring Larry Poling Jr. and Brian Frauheiger, and it looks like Jacob Lenke is going to be starting in 27th position, the last driver to get in his race car tonight, as Noah Hogard, John Houchin, and Doug Ellingson have yet to do so. As Sky said just a few moments ago, it's 100 laps for the scheduled distance tonight as the iRacing.com pace car leads the parade off of pit road. We do want to thank our friends over at Jam Printing and Promotions out of Plainfield, Indiana. We are local, we are veteran certified, and when we do well, we can do more good in the community. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, and they provide GLR with all promotional items, including shirts, hats, decals, dog tags, you name it. Jam is GLR's go-to promotional company, and they, of course, sponsor our pole award across all series. The iRacing.com pace car comes out of turn 4, and we are going to get one more parade lap tonight here in the West Division of the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA Series. Of course, you're watching us on Goat Locker Racing and V-Speed. We want to thank everybody for tuning in and making us a part of your evening. Head on over to goatlockerracing.org/donate, and as a contributor to Goat Locker Racing Inc., we make sure that your donation goes directly to supporting our cause of helping military veterans and first responders. You can hit that QR code right there in the middle of your screen, and we thank you in advance for your generosity. Check us out there at Goat Locker Racing as the iRacing.com pace car comes out of turn 2 and leads the field down the backstretch. We get things ready to rock and roll. Logan Threlkel with control of the field alongside of Barrett Morton. Barrett Morton, a familiar face here toward the front of the racetrack, so we expect big things from him tonight as the iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road. The only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab your popcorn, your honey buns, and settle in. Race fans, it's show time! Green flag in the air, and off we go in the West Division. Logan Threlkel wasting next to no time getting single file in front of Barrett Morton. A great start for him as we work here, and the caution is out already. Just kidding. Nothing like having this early on in the race. My goodness. We're going to have to go back there. I see that looks like the 84 of Hayden Muir trying to get gathered back up, and maybe the 18 of Timothy Peters. Let's go to the race replay here on V-Speed as Peters is crab crawling down pit lane. And we're going to take one quick look at this. Here's the 18. And, oh, the 91 tags the 18. He gets sideways across the nose of the 71 of Parks. And it looks like the 84, the 84 locked him up. So we're going to head on back over to the East Division as we are here under caution in the West.
Yeah, we're 3 wide right now for second in the East Division. Couldn't have thrown it back at a better time. Christian Angel holds P2. You've got Jake Ham in here. This is Jake Ellingson going all the way up to the wall as Ryzen Baker and Wesley Burt go underneath him, and Ellingson all the way out of the groove goes from about 2nd to 6th there in no time at all. Angel holds P2 down, but he's got Wesley Burke into the back of him, and now he's got Jake Ham into the back of him as well. The 85 is shoving the 79 out of the corner. They're both loose. They're both in the fence, and that's going to open the door for the 09 car of Wesley Burke, still ripping that apron, trying to help that car rotate through the center of the corner. We'll see if he can get P2 here as he and Angel go side by side back down into turn 1. Baker and Ham side by side for P4 as well. Burke is going to run Angel a little bit up the racetrack here, but they'll stay side by side down the back straightaway. Angel has a little bit of an advantage, but Burke is able to get that much deeper run into the corner, so they tend to come out pretty even. Across the start-finish line this time, it's Christian Angel holding the lead, or holding P2, holding the lead of this battle over Wesley Burke. Jake Ham and Ryzen Baker, 4th and 5th, still going at it, and Baker, oh, contact there for Ham. He gets into the back of Wesley Burke. Burke was not quite clear of that 85 car, and both cars are going to take some hits. Baker is now going to have a chance to get around that 85 car right after it looked like Jake Ham had gotten clear. They'll door each other off into the corner. They're still dooring each other as we go halfway through turn 1. Ham is the advantage as the 09 and the 79 are both hard in the fence as we get around the lap car of Doug Ellingson, who slides up the track, forces that 09 car high. Jake Ham is starting to try and gain some time and get into this battle for second as Burke and Christian Angel still cannot figure out who wants P2 more. Angel's been holding it, but Burke has been giving him everything he can handle over these last 10 or so laps to try to get this position away. Burke is just sending it a little further down into the corners. You can see still putting those left side tires on the apron. As he makes his way around here, he'll pull back up into 3-3-3, and he cuts the nose off Jake Ham again there. Not quite clear, but he made it work. Ham maybe backing out to avoid the contact we already saw once this race. Burke still has that inside lane. You're on board with Jake Ham in the 85 there as he rides it around the top. Ryzen Baker underneath him. While this is going on, Mark Whitley has pulled 6 seconds away as these cars do battle for second halfway through this race. We stay green. We will need green flag pit stops here before too long, as there's a little bit of contact with Burke and Angel ends up in the fence as a result of it. Burke, I am stunned by how well he is running that bottom line. I haven't seen anyone else in the field putting those left side tires on the apron like that 09 car is every time Jake Ham slides up the road, almost into the side of Ryzen Baker, and that tight exit is going to get the 77 clear for P4 as Wesley Burke and Christian Angel still are not clear for P2. This has been going on and off for about 15 or 20 laps now, and none of these cars have given an inch at any point. Wesley Burke is giving him everything he's got, and right now it just isn't enough to make the pass. Christian Angel's not making any mistakes, and you see Burke loose off the corner there. He's going to head onto the apron. I think we're going to see green flag pit stops begin. Here comes Wesley Burke in the 09. He's your first car down on lap 52, and he's going to lose it into pit road there. That was close. Makes it in okay, and we'll see if this is going to be a fuel stop. I think we'll come down for fuel and 4 tires. A couple other cars have also decided to come down here. Mark Cofield, Jake Ellingson, Tim Wilms have all come in. Jonathan Lawless was in 14 laps ago, but all of those cars have come down within the last few laps. As this battle is now single filed back out. Ryzen Baker to second, Jake Ham to third, as Christian Angel is your next car into the pits. In that 79, Samuel Yosef will join him down pit road along with that 66 car of John Herman you saw there in his pit box. And Mark Whitley is going to come down from the lead of the race here. That's your 74 car, your race leader by 6 seconds. He'll look for a clean stop, and everyone is going to come in behind him. Ryzen Baker is in, Jake Ham is in, Fuller, Alan Smith, Sedarius Days, all into the pits here. Haven't mentioned Sidarius Days at all, but he got an EOL penalty and has done a great job to drive his way all the way back up through the field here to contend for the win of this amateur class in ARCA East tonight. Carnes is in, Unger is in, and that's going to leave us with 5 cars still out on the track. It's Jamie Libke, Brandon Wallace, Kyle Deering, Benjamin Richards, and Claire Sisk still out. Doug Ellingson also still out, although he is 6 laps down after having to start in the pit, so he likely has a little extra fuel from that late start from being all those laps down. Benjamin Richards in now. Jamie Libke got that lap led, is going to come down. Brandon Wallace will join her. And those 3 will come down. Kyle Deering will stay out. He'll take a lap led there in that 50 car. Claire Sisk might be doing the same thing, staying out one more time. Nope, Claire Sisk is going to switch it up, come down pit road in that 12. And this should, once Deering comes down, complete the cycle. Mark Whitley is out, and he is ahead of that 27 car of Ellingson, and that's going to be what really matters because Ellingson came down about, let's see, Ellingson came down 8 laps earlier than Mark Whitley did, so he had 8 laps on fresh tires to run as fast as he could and close that gap, and Whitley still came out ahead. Whitley did lose a little bit of time in the pits. If you remember, he came in 6 seconds ahead of Baker and Burke in that battle. He only came out about 4 seconds ahead, but that's still a big gap. Caution flies! Gonna see who this is for. Got a bunch of cars in the pits. We'll get you who that caution was for here in just a second, but that is going to really shake things up. I think that is going to be great news for the 50 of Kyle Deering, who was in the pits when that came out and is going to, as a result, not lose a ton of time. This is going to hurt quite a few cars, though, who were trapped a lap down. Andrew Carnes, Claire Sisk. It's Doug Ellingson in the 58. Well, he's already missing the nose on that car when we start the clip, so he's had some prior contacts to cause this. Well, let's see. We've got some lap cars going underneath him. Gonna hit the fence there. Oh! That's a big hit there. That's Josh Unger in the 51. Was trying to leave the pits. And he collects the 56 of Benjamin Richards there as well. That was an interesting one there. Doug Ellingson, I don't know if he didn't realize the 51 was coming up, but he kind of just dove down about 2 lanes and domino effect from there. That took out a couple cars. We're going to see Jake Ellingson come back down. He'll be the only car. Him and Timothy Wilms, the only cars on the lead lap to come back down. And we're going to get ready to switch it back over to ARCA West, where they've got some action going on over there as we sit under caution in ARCA East.
Welcome back over to the West Division, and Logan Threlkeld still your race leader. He's got Barrett Morton trailing by about 0.3 of a second here as we currently are now just going under caution. Why not? We went away during caution. We came back. Let's take a peek at what brought this up. All things considered, I don't even... never mind. We don't have enough time, so let's just quick go over what's happening here. Logan Threlkeld, your pole sitter, still sitting atop the pile. He's got Barrett Morton behind him. Running in 3rd position is Jeremiah Holt. Then, of course, Tyler Justice and George Jewell round out your top 5. We take a look at that Pro Am split here on lap number 19. So we're just about at that 20% mark of this piece. And here comes the V-Speed instant replay. Let's take a look here at the 777. And not sure what we're got, and the 777 just gets himself turned. That's Wayne Newman. Hello, Newman, as he gets himself all kinds of sideways. The Ann Arbor, Michigan driver trying to bring it back under control in the backstretch. Finally does so and gets back rolling. So fortunately, he doesn't collect anybody to come around with him, but that's going to trigger some wholesale pit stops here on the front stretch. Barrett Morton, Tyler Justice, Charles Abert, Jason Kristen, Dave Calvert, those are the drivers there as we take a look at the pit stop timer. Morton off in 14.3, 14 flat for Justice. Great stop for him, 14.4 for Jewell. Abert a little slow, maybe needed some extra fuel, and it looks like Kristen at just 6.1 seconds, maybe a fuel-only stop. 9.2 for Selway. Feltz with another 6.7. I mean, without being able to talk to some of these drivers, we don't really have a good idea of what that tire wear is like, what that consumption is here on the racetrack as you're watching the Glove Station ARCA Series live on V-Speed. Of course, it's Dave Regal here on the Western Division, Sky Shrek with your coverage of the East Division. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. As we are going to send things back over to the East Division. Kind of a quiet night here. Sky, what's rocking over there? Looks like the green flag about to fly.
Yeah, we're getting ready to go back green here. Like we said, pit stop for Jake Ellingson. Tim Williams are going to put him back in the field. Most cars have gotten the lap back here. We'll have 16 on the lead lap as we get ready to go back green with Mark Whitley and Ryzen Baker on the front row. It's a good jump for Whitley as we're back green at Iowa. .38 to go here in ARCA East tonight as Mark Whitley gets a great jump out for the lead of the race. Ryzen Baker sits in P2 with Wesley Burke in P3. Cofield fourth, the leader of your AM class tonight as he's ahead of Jake Ham in the 85. Cofield has really punched above his weight in that amateur class this year. He's doing so tonight. As you can see him continuing to hold off that 85 car. Good run on the inside there to get this spot. This has been kind of a theme all season in ARCA East. We've had quite a few drivers in this amateur class who on their days have been able to mix it up with the best of them. Mark Cofield's one of them. Samuel Joseph, another driver that we've seen run up here with the big dogs quite a few times this season. Really good improvement being shown out of the drivers in this amateur class, especially as we head into the second half of this season. We're side by side a little further back. I mentioned Sedarius Days had an EOL penalty to start this race on that first run. Drove his way all the way up through the field, right to the end of the top 10. He now sits 9th, third in amateur class, as he looks to make a move on Jamie Libke. The 27 of Jake Ellingson sits one spot behind him in that 45 car. Ellingson just pit, has a couple laps fresher tires here than the rest of the field, and maybe more importantly, he doesn't have that extra caution worth of heat cycle on those tires. So we'll see if that 27 car, always a contender, can get up and try to win his first ARCA East race of the season as he works his way back up through the field. Back up front, Jake Ham continues to find a move to put on Mark Cofield, but the 97 is doing a great job to defend. He's holding off that 85 car on the bottom, making Jake Ham take the long way if he wants to get that move done. And so far, it just hasn't worked out for the 85. This time it might. Let's see. Yes, Jake Ham is clear of Mark Cofield. Sends that 97 car back to 5th. Ham is going to be in pursuit of your top 3 of Burke, Baker, and Whitley to try and find his way up onto the podium here tonight. As Christian Angel is now going to dive to the inside of another Ram driver here for P6. That's Patrick Fuller in the 13 up on the top. He wants to hold this position because he wants to battle Mark Cofield for the lead of the AM class. Christian Angel wants to find his way back up into the lead after a bad pit stop set him back. He'll get that spot pretty easily. He's up to P6. He's now got Mark Cofield sitting between him and these top 4 pro drivers. Sedarius Days working the bottom with Jake Ellingson up here on the top. They've got the 99 of Brandon Wallace in the way, that bright pink Jello car. Trying to do battle with these drivers is, well, we're side by side for a second there further up. Jake Ham held the spot pretty easily, so we're going to stick on this battle a little further back here. Sedarius Days trying to hold him off, as similar situation to what happened further up. It's the pro driver running the top, trying to use the long way to get around the AM driver on the bottom, and it'll work out pretty well for the 27 of Jake Ellingson there. He's clear of Sedarius Days, puts that 45 car back to 10th. And now his sights are set on the 99 of Brandon Wallace, who has not had a great race today. He's been hovering back half of the top 10, maybe around 11th or 12th at parts. Running up in 8th, now 9th, as Jake Ellingson in the 27 will not quite get clear here off the corner. Wallace is going to be able to fight back, and the caution flies. Colton Sisk is into the wall, along with Jonathan Lawless, and a blown engine for Claire Sisk in that. It's a multi-car accident. We've got cars littered all over turns 1 and 2. We're going to have to figure out... Oh, well, this started with Lawless, and this started with Colton Sisk up here. So you'll see it as they head down the front straightaway. These are cars 2 laps down, racing for position when this happens. And Sisk is going to come down the track, and Lawless is going to come up the track, and they are going to meet in the middle and both crash. And Lawless just comes back up. Nowhere Claire Sisk can really go there, and that is a huge hit for that 12 car. Luckily, those drivers do have the faster pair, so they're going to be able to get this car fixed up, as that's just a huge hit for the driver of that 12. Actually, I take that back. Jonathan Lawless does not have a faster pair. The other 2 drivers involved in this do. Pit stops will begin now for most of the cars in the field. In fact, it looks like all but 2 cars in the field. I'll make that 3. We've got Jamie Libke, Kyle Deering, and Samuel Joseph. 3 amateur drivers who have decided to stay out. Mark Whitley and everybody else is going to come down, and they'll put tires on this car. It's going to be, well, we got some strategy going on here. It's going to be a 2-tire call for Wesley Burke. Looks like we're going to see quite a few 2-tire calls. Ryzen Baker, Mark Cofield, Brandon Wallace, all out on 2. Mark Whitley is your first car on 4, and he will come out in P8. We'll keep an eye on this for you, but as we're under caution, we'll send it back over to ARCA West, or Dave Regal's going to get him restarted.
Welcome back to the West Division. The green flag flies. Logan Threlkeld drops the hammer, and off we go here on lap number 28. It's been kind of a slow pace here to get things going tonight with 3 cautions now already, as Threlkeld's got a battle between Bontrager and Parks. Raging behind him, off the wall goes Parks from Goshen, Indiana, not too far away from where we are, as he starts to bang into the 49 now of Bontrager. They go side by side, and it almost looks like Parks is just way too loose. The question becomes, did he get himself maybe just 2 tires and that car all over the racetrack? Looking on from behind, it's the 94 of Charles Stevens, and that rounds out our top 5. Now making contact and banging doors go the 71 and the 49. This time Daniel Parks has to slide behind as Bontrager out of Goshen, Indiana starts to scamper away from him. But I think we're going to have to keep a close eye on that battle as Jeremiah Holt lays down the fast time now in his number 73, as they are single file for several car lengths until we get all the way back here to the 43 of Brock Price, as he is going to be side by side with George Jewell. Jewell in the 36 out of Lakeview, Michigan, now gets just ahead and now behind Wayne Newman, as Newman starts to take that a little bit more of that higher approach. Maybe that's got a little bit more grip in it, at least for exit on turn 4. Turn 2, as now they haul things down and out of turns 3 and 4 and back to the front stretch. This D-shaped oval doesn't give these guys a whole lot of shoulder brakes, that's for sure. As we work here on lap number 32 of 100, Logan Threlkeld, your race leader. He's your pole sitter, and right now, big movers of the night is Wayne Newman up 14 positions, and Craig Bontrager also up 14 positions. In the wrong direction, though, is Charles Abert out of Chehalis, Washington. He is down 18 positions after qualifying in the top 5, getting ready to go on back here to the Eastern Division while we've gone back under green. Sky, looks like you are doubled up and ready to rock out there.
Yeah, we're getting restarted here in ARCA East with a whole bunch of shakeups to the order. Jamie Libke is going to go off from the pole position here after staying out. Kyle Deering will join her out here. Same with Joseph, and Wesley Burke is immediately trying to pounce on 2 tires and find his way back up to the lead. We are on 3 different strategies, and Libke stuffs it into the fence. That is going to hurt her ability to hold the lead. Wesley Burke will pull away as we head down into turn 1, and he's got this barricade of Deering and Libke, who stayed out on old tires behind him, and we're going to try to go 3 wide with Samuel Joseph. Is this going to work? Yes, it will. What a battle here for the lead of the AM class. Samuel Joseph gets the 2-for-1. He's your new AM leader. Mark Whitley, the first car on 4 tires, is trying to find his way through all 3 of these cars. This cannot get any closer. Kyle Deering is in the scary zone back there. He's going to drop about 6 or 7 positions after getting stuck in the middle. He'll go all the way back behind Christian Angel, but we've got this back single filed out for the most part. We're still 3 wide a little further back here. This is madness. Jamie Libke has slid back through the field on those older tires, but it's Samuel Joseph in the 65, the car who's really prevailed on that older rubber as Libke's up the track. Libke is around. Ellingson is also around. Huge hit for Libke and Deering. Ellingson is backwards. We got about 5, 6, 7 cars wrecked here in turn 1. We're still wrecking. It does not end. Oh my, that was 2 simultaneous wrecks there. That was absolute chaos. You're going to see both of them. It's going to start, the one we started here, with Sidarius Day is just completely missing the corner and cleaning out Jake Ellingson. That is the one that also involved a couple of those other cars back there. As you can see, those cars just continue to ice skate in afterwards. Days coming up was the one that took out the 99, and that was Timothy Wilms back there. And then you've got Fuller kind of involved in this one. Actually, Fuller just snuck through. It's Deering and Libke who got the worst of this one right here. Man, it looks like it's ice down there. Like, we're on, like, a Mario Kart ice level. This is crazy. That is going to be a lot of cars who are going to need to take their fast repair here tonight. That is, I mean, that's major damage for most of those AM drivers who were trying that strategy of staying out and trying to make that work. Libke, Deering, even some cars further up like Jake Ellingson really got killed in that crash. So that is going to be a lot of work for those drivers to drive their way back through the field here and try to retake what they've lost, considering we've only got about 18 laps to go in this one. We will see how this all shakes out as we get ready to have what might be the final restart of the race here in ARCA East. We'll get them 2x2 here in just a second. Looks like we're going to do one more lap around under the pace car before we get them lined up side by side. And it's Wesley Burke in the 09, your race leader. He is on 2 tires on that pit stop before this one. And he did a great job to make his way through Libke and Joseph and Deering, who all stayed out on old rubber, and pull himself into that lead. Mark Whitley had a much harder time. In fact, he was getting a pretty hard time from the 65 of Samuel Joseph, who after that big crash is now the AM leader, 2 spots ahead of Mark Cofield in the 97. We'll see if he, on those older tires, can give more of a fight to Mark Whitley and try to hold on for the AM lead here tonight. We've got 2 pro drivers, 2 AM drivers in the top 4. The Pro-Am competition here in ARCA East all season long, but especially tonight, has really been special. You've had Samuel Joseph just rolling all night long, all race long, really, as he continues to gain some time. And internet issues for the 09 of Wesley Burke there, but he seems to get those sorted out as we continue to pace. We'll go back green with 16, not 16 to go from Iowa. And we will have on the front row Joseph and Burke, and they will do battle for the win of the race here tonight. Don't count out some of these drivers a little further back. You got Mark Whitley here in the 74 on 4 tires. The first car in the field on 4 tires. You've got Ryzen Baker in the 77, hungry for his first win of the season. You've got Christian Angel starting behind 2 amateur drivers here, and I'll bet he'll look to move him out of the way real quickly to get himself into this battle with Burke. Pace car pulls in. It's 16 to go from Iowa. It's Burke, it's Joseph, and it's a great jump for the inside as we get back green. Joseph had nothing for Whitley, who sends it down to that inside lane in a hurry and gets himself clear for P2. It looked like he was going to try to find a spot on Burke, but he couldn't get it. Joseph is in the wall. Now he's into Ryzen Baker. Cofield is going to try to get going. He's going to get into the corner of Yosef. Tokyo drift, then he's going to go around. Caution flies, and we've got, oh, he's going to slide back down the track. Didn't hit anybody there, thank God. He was sliding that thing for a solid 5 or 6 seconds trying to get it saved. And he ultimately just was not able to. Sent it around and made pretty decent contact with the 13 of Patrick Fuller, another one of those amateur drivers up the field. He just gets tagged from behind. Not really his fault. And he tries to save it, but he can't hold on. It was the 97 of Mark Cofield, the other amateur driver up here, who made that initial contact to send that car around. We'll go on board with Cofield here. He's jumping up to the outside. He wants to get this move done really badly on the 65 car. He wants this amateur lead. Both cars smack the fence, and then you see the contact with Ryzen Baker. Cofield just sends it in a little too deep, tags that 65 car. There he goes. Cofield nearly got involved in that. Was lucky he was able to get down. And Jake Ellingson has given Jake Ellingson an EOL penalty, so he will roll off from the back on this next restart. Starting to become a race of attrition here. We ran the first 55, 60 laps of this race green, but over these last few laps, we've had some moments here in the ARCA East race, as both races currently sit under caution. We've had a few yellows that have really shaken up the running order. Mark Whitley has gotten himself back onto the front row, though, and he is going to give it absolutely everything he has to try to pursue Wesley Burke for the win of this race here in ARCA East. Mark Whitley wants to grab number 6 on the season if he's able to get the win here tonight. Going to do a quick rundown of your field here. It's Wesley Burke in the 09, currently your race leader. Got the lead on the pit strategy. We'll see if he can hold it on pit strategy and hold off Mark Whitley, who was the dominant car over the first 70 laps of this race. Whitley will go off P2. We'll see if he's able to stay even with Burke on this restart. Ryzen Baker starts 3rd. Jake Ham, 4th. Mark Cofield, your top amateur driver, has gone 13-5 over the course of the night. He sits 5th. Christian Angel currently holds P6. He's been up front all night long. 6 is about the lowest down he's been at any point tonight. How about Sedarius Days? Undoubtedly your biggest mover. Got caught up in an accident, but he is still up here. Started, it's going to say 16th, but he started this race with an EOL. Drove all the way through the field, and he currently sits P7, trying to go from last to an amateur class win here tonight. He'll start inside of another AM driver in Andrew Carnes, who's gone from 15th to 8th. Patrick Fuller sits 9th after getting involved in that accident. He's got some damage on that 13 car, but with so few laps left, he is just going to try to ride it out. You've got Tim Wilms, Alan Smith, Kyle Deering, Brandon Wallace, Unger, and Samuel Yosef, the 15 cars who currently sit on the lead lap. As we come around to the green flag once more at Iowa, we've got 11 to go in ARCA East. Wesley Burke, Mark Whitley, Ryzen Baker, Jake Ham, your top 4. Pace car is in, and it's another great jump for the inside line as we're back green at Iowa. Ryzen Baker gives a huge shove to Wesley Burke, and we're wrecking immediately. Jake Ham is around. Cofield, big hit for Andrew Carnes. And it didn't look like anyone else got involved in that one outside of the cars that we saw, but there were some big hits in that one. Carnes, the most notable car that took a huge shot to that outside wall. You'll see it here. Barely even got away. Jake Ham is just going to get turned after contact with Mark Cofield. I think that 97 just came a little too far up the track and tagged the 85, and it all breaks from there. So we are back under caution here in ARCA East, and the run to the finish is going to be made even shorter. You know, if I'm Ryzen Baker, I'm probably pretty upset that that came out when it did. I would rather start third on this restart than second, because that is the second time that we have seen the inside lane absolutely take off on a restart, and the car who started in second ultimately wind up in third. We'll have to see if that streak continues here, or if Baker can finally get that jump on the top that has eluded basically every other car here tonight. We're going to send it over to ARCA West real quick while we sit under caution in ARCA East, because they've got some green flag racing going on.
Well, we've reached the halfway point here in the West, and Dave Calvert, he is going to be our AM leader right now. Charles Friel, he's back there in P2. Then Dan Parks in third, and fourth goes to Price on the AM side. Then, of course, we've got Daniel Selway and Julian Kauser leading the way for the pro side with Craig Bontrager in third and Logan Threlkeld in fourth. So a lot of shifting too right now, as of course our pole sitter no longer our leader, as Logan Threlkeld running in fifth right now. That cycled Daniel Selway Jr. up there into the lead. Of course, Daniel Selway Jr. the third. If you follow along with the Dan Patrick show, he's trying to hold off Julian Kauser, who nearly makes contact with him here coming through the front stretch. They cross the start-finish line, and now Kauser looks to the inside. He wants a piece of that fresh asphalt here at the bottom, as he's able to really wrap that white line right up against the infield apron. Now Selway starts to kind of pull away a little bit now from the 91, but the 92 and the 91 at it like crazy. We take a look just a tad further back, and Dave Calvert Sr. in the 90. He's the one right now leading the AM division, so he could get a natural podium, if not challenge for the lead here. If he sits there and maybe lets the 91 and the 92 burn their stuff up. I mean, like right now, Julian Kauser tries to dart his way underneath the 92 of Selway, and now they start to go door handle to door handle down the front stretch. All of a sudden, they can waggle the fingers at one another through the nets, and the 91 nearly has the rear end slip out, and Kauser now is your race leader. First change of the night now between these two, as the 91 and the 92 are now duking it out with the hammers and tongs out here. And Selway with a connection problem. Just a quick little blink there, but that's something to keep an eye on, especially for those drivers around him. Now Selway starts to get a little bit closer to the 91 of Kauser, but Kauser able to hold him off as Selway is trying to get up there. Of course, Selway out of Canton, Ohio, home of the Hupmobile, and of course the Pro Football Hall of Fame, now kisses the wall a little bit coming out of 4, maybe getting a little high and wild, if you will, here on lap number 57. And we're going to head on back for the finale now of the East Division.
We've got 6 laps to go in ARCA East. It's Wesley Burke, it's Ryzen Baker up here, 1 and 2. It's another good jump for Burke, but Baker holds pretty strong up there on the outside, does not let that 09 car go. We're side by side still down into turn 1, and Mark Whitley is going to look to find his way through both of these cars. That 77 is loose, saves it. Wow, that was really close for Ryzen Baker. Almost ended up ending his night there. Caution flies further back. We have Samuel Joseph is totaled. He was running up front, was running really well all night long, and that is not how he wanted it to end. We're going to get a replay here. This is going to be a stack up with a little bit of net code that is going to be involved. It's Alan Smith, it's Kyle Deering, and it is Samuel Joseph getting in this one. Smith is going to hit the wall, and that's not really going to play a part in this incident. It's more going to be that sends Deering down to the inside, who then net codes the 65 of Samuel Joseph as he tries to drive by, and Samuel Joseph gets hooked into the outside wall and takes out all 3 cars. And with so few laps to go, that is going to basically be the death knell for those cars, because they're not going to be able to get that thing back out and contend for the win tonight. That will be the end of those drivers and their chance to win the amateur class tonight. Mark Cofield still holds the lead there. He sits 4th at the minute. Excuse me, he sits 5th at the minute. Sedarius Day sits in 6th, so it's going to be one of those 2 cars or Patrick Fuller, who sits 7th, who are going to win the AM class tonight, and it's going to be a really tight battle between those cars for the win. We'll see if this ends up in overtime here, if this ends up taking our first of 2 green-white checkers that we need tonight. If the lights on the pace car stay on this next time around, it will be the first green-white checkered attempt. If those lights on the pace car go off, then we will have kind of a natural overtime here. We'll go green with 2 to go. So let's see what the pace car does when it crosses the line this time around. And the lights will stay on. So we are going to go to overtime here in the ARCA East race from Iowa. We're going to need at least one of our 2 green-white checkers to settle this here tonight between Wesley Burke, Mark Whitley, Ryzen Baker, and Christian Angel up front for the win of this race. And it has been kind of an up-and-down night for quite a few of these cars. Mark Whitley was the dominant force. He pulled out a 6-second lead at one point tonight, but he is going to need to get around Wesley Burke if he wants to win this race that he led so much of. Wesley Burke took the lead on pit cycle, and we've been basically in caution after caution since he took the lead, so he's just been able to hang on to it here up here in that 09 car. Hasn't really faced much of a challenge yet from Whitley or Ryzen Baker. But you know, with 2 laps to go, those cars are going to do absolutely everything they can to find their way to victory lane. Christian Angel, he's been flirting up front basically all race now. We've seen him first. I think we've seen him basically everywhere but first. We've seen him 2nd, 3rd, 4th. I think he might have been first for a second on a pit cycle. But he has been up, down, all around, and he will look to find a win here tonight. Same deal with Ryzen Baker. He's been basically everywhere in the top 10 except the lead. He will look to grab the lead here, restarting 3rd. Then you got the battle for the AM class. Sedarius Days, Mark Cofield, Patrick Fuller. These 3 cars are going to start one behind the other, and they are going to go at it for the win. You know that they're about to get aggressive to try to win this AM class. We've seen all of those drivers pretty much get involved in accidents tonight, and yet they're all still here, and they're fighting when it matters most. Patrick Fuller basically has a hole in the nose. He don't care. Neither does the 09 of Burke, who's going to try to get the best jump possible to clear Mark Whitley. It's overtime at Iowa. We're green. And look at how tight these cars are running in turn 1. Ryzen Baker is trying to do what he can to get this spot, but he doesn't have the momentum on the inside, and Whitley holds the advantage up there on the top. He'll get clear to 2nd, and now for the win of the race as we head through 3 and 4, it's going to be Mark Whitley on the 09 of Wesley Burke. White flag is out here from Iowa. This race will end under green. Whitley is going to run a little bit higher as Burke does what he does all race. Runs those left sides on the apron. Whitley is there. He's got one chance to get something going on the 09 car. He's not going to get it there. He needs the speed on exit. Can Mark Whitley get it? No, he can't. He's loose. Wesley Burke wins at Iowa as Mark Whitley wrecks behind him. Sedarius Days gets the win of the amateur class. And there is a giant pile up in turn 1. Sedarius Days. Oh, we have a flip. We have a barrel roll. Andrew Carnes is over. Tumbling in through turn 1. Woo, we're going to need a replay on that because that was... Whoa. You see him wrecking here. Carnes is going to get... He's going to come down the track. And he's going to get T-boned by Kyle Deering, and there he goes. It's not every day that you see a barrel roll at Iowa. That was a huge one. The 45 of Sedarius Days wins the amateur class, and Wesley Burke gets to burn it down as your pro winner here tonight from Iowa. We're going to see if we can get some of these drivers up into the booth here in just a second, potentially. Going to have to wait on them to get up here, but it will be Sedarius Days. I believe that might be his first amateur win of the season. First or second. We haven't seen him on victory lane much, but He's got a good one here tonight, and he is getting ready for an interview right now, so we are going to pull him up into the booth. Sedarius, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Amateur class win tonight. How's it feel?
It feels good to get the monkey off your back, man. Especially coming from the back of the field, it feels amazing.
Yeah, you really had to fight for it there, especially at the end with 2 to go. You restarted next to Cofield and Fuller. What was it like getting around them to get this win?
I just had to manage the restart. I had a real bad restart the one before that, so I was trying to get up on Christian a whole lot more so I can time the restart a whole lot better. And I kind of seen that this car had a little bit of damage, so just trying to make it around too cleanly, and I seen that, so came around him and got in front of him. That was it.
And is it made even sweeter because you did have to go all the way from the back to get it done?
Yes, it does, man. I was kind of angry about that, but I mean, take it for what it's worth, and came out here and made it happen.
All right, anyone you have to thank tonight?
My team, Highline Motorsports, all the guys over there who make this happen. B-Hawk, on the car, veteran owned, just doing what he's doing and being a part of the whole Black Hawk Down. This is it. If you want to check that out, you can check out the website. Goat Locker, Eddie, and everybody, you guys, for putting on a great broadcast and a great show. And my wife and my kids, man, when they watch this in the morning, they're probably gonna get a kick out of it. So my first broadcast win.
All right, congrats on the AM win tonight, Sedarius Days.
All right, thank you guys.
And we're now going to send it over to our pro class winner tonight. That's the 09 car, Wesley Burke. Wesley, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Got the win tonight here at Iowa. How's it feel?
Great.
Great to hear. You kind of got it done on pit strategy. You took 2 tires there and were able to defend the lead afterwards. How'd you do that?
Well, I mean, I got really lucky there with how the first restart went. I got around all 3 of them, and then they kind of just held them off for that bit. And it took like a couple restarts for Whitley and them to get back up to like second and third. And when that happened, just had to be really aggressive on because couldn't let them get to the outside off of 2. If they were to the outside off of 2, it was their spot. As y'all could probably see from the rest of the night, I made a little bit of contact early on, trying to get a spot from, I think it was Christian Angel, because it was just so hard to make a pass on the bottom.
Was racing with Angel fun there in that battle early on? Because that was great to watch.
It was like 4 of us, I think 5 of us at one point, just all battling for it. And I think Jacob Ellingson hit early and actually had a great strategy going. It was like 3 seconds ahead of me when I came out of pit road.
All right, anyone you have to thank tonight?
Oh, yeah. Lincoln Tech, obviously, for sponsoring all of the fall season, correct? And
I think so.
Save 22 and Love Station for sponsoring ARCA, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs. Save 22 for being an awesome team, and all of you guys for broadcasting.
All right, congrats on the win tonight, Wesley Burke.
Thank you.
We're going to send it over to Dave. He's got the end of ARCA West.
Just 23 laps to go. Craig Bontrager has taken over the lead here. Of course, a little while ago, the 03 was trying to get onto pit road back on lap 62, got right in front of our race leader, and all kinds of bad things happened as Daniel Selway just ran him over and wound up wrecking himself. So Frauheiger kind of causing that, but we've got one heck of a battle going on now. Watch the 91 and the 30. Logan Threlkeld and Huling Kowser dueling it out, as Dueling Huling is down on the low side, trying to stay just ahead of Santa, as the 30 is holding his own right now on lap number 79. We cross the start-finish line, and they can all but touch one another's fenders as we suddenly have a 3-way battle for the lead. Touching they are. Watch the 91 and the 30. As Huling Kowser starts to dig a little bit deeper here, he stays on the new asphalt, gets a little bit of a run now just over top of the 30, and now he slides in front of Logan Threlkeld. that's not going to settle things for long because Threlkeld, with 20 laps to go, does not want to see caution number 7. And Thaddeus Friel Jr. is around as he's going to limp himself across the start-finish line. Let's go to the V-Speed instant replay. Thaddeus Friel Jr., the third, now gets right into turn 3, and it looks like he's going to probably over-rotate right here. And here comes the rear end of the car. Nobody touched him until he collected the 43 of Brock Price. Price is going to be a little angry. That time I would say the price was not right, Bob. As we work here on lap number 82, with now 19 laps to go, the question becomes, does anybody decide to come on down pit road, maybe get a quick service here, maybe some fresh rubber on these cars? And of course, we also want to thank our good friends. We haven't done so yet tonight here at Glove Station. And here at Glove Station, we're committed to providing quality gloves and protective gear for a wide range of your daily activities and jobs. From tinkering on home DIYs to working in industrial environments and everything in between, we've got you covered. With endless amounts of safety products on the market, we want to make it effortless for you to find the right protection for your needs. And you can head on over there to glovestation.com. They can hook you up. Great product line. As we're going to stay under caution here for the time being. 7th time tonight. And, we talked about it in the pre-show that, bad things can happen, and we hope that they don't. But, with a new racing surface like we have here tonight at Iowa Speedway, guys are getting a little, well, for lack of a better term, they're getting a little ballsy trying to boogie around this place. And you don't necessarily drive them. The idea of a race car driver is you want to go fast. But we've only had a few lead changes over these 7 cautions now. With Craig Bontrager, he's our race leader. He's got Julian Kauser and Logan Threlkeld in tow for the podium. George Jewell and Jeremiah Holt round out your top 5. And then it takes us a little while until we look back here to 7th position. That's where Brock Price leads the AM drivers. It goes Price, and, Brock and Kevin, that is. Then Melgosa, Chuck Pegleg Feltz, Dave Calvert, Charles Abert, and Alan Bergen back there in 8th. And, all things considered, a lot of these drivers in the AM division have been putting up great fights all year long. And, I don't want to say we can't ask much more from them, but they are definitely asking a lot of themselves, of their teams, and doing a heck of a job boogieing around Iowa Speedway tonight. Of course, we also want to make sure that we salute and tip our caps to our friends at Lincoln Tech. Lincoln's mission is to provide superior education and training to our students for in-demand careers and a supportive, accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They are one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 23 campuses, and they are the title sponsor of the Fall Series and a huge part and partner of Goat Locker Racing. And of course, folks, you are watching the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA Series live here on V-Speed. Dave Regal with you. You just watched the end of the Eastern Division with Sky Schreck on the call. And now, of course, here in the West Division, we're starting to see a lot of these drivers settle their way in, as we are going to be 1 lap to green. The iRacing.com pace car lights are off. That means we'll be getting ready to go back. Green flag racing, big movers of the night. In one direction, it's plus 16, and it's Craig Bontrager. He started back in 17th. And then at the other end of this spectrum, Charles Abert, who's down 16, so literally opposite here, as he started up in P5 and now runs in 21st. "16 laps to go here at Iowa Speedway. Goshen, Indiana's Craig Bontrager getting settled in. He's got Julian Kauser to the high side. Now, Kauser was just battling it out with Logan Threlkeld. As we hit the restart zone, Bontrager drops the hammer, and off we go here with 15 laps left at Iowa Speedway. Craig Bontrager with a good jump over Logan Threlkeld. Each of those drivers last came down at lap number 39. A little bit fresher tires. Oh, God, this is, yeah. And we go under caution. There it is. Jacob Blanke here in the 37. not having himself a good night, that's for sure. Go Mudhens says, nope, we're not talking about race winner Wesley Burke. There it is. We watch the 37 here. That's Jacob Lanke to the low side, just underneath the 94. And just a bad push here on the pedal, and he gets himself all kinds of upset and sliding down the backstretch in a not-so-fun fashion. Lap number 87 with 13 left here. Toledo, Ohio's Jacob Lanke responsible for this one. And now Craig Bontrager leads the way. He is going to be the Pied Piper of Iowa Speedway. It's going to be Bontrager, Threlkeld, Kowser, Jewell, and Holt, your top 5. As we work here in the late stage of this one. And rumor has it, first points are on the board tonight in Kansas City. Kind of an interesting development out there. It's been a long night. As now we see the 03 of Brian Frauheiger getting the wave around, as he is going to try to get another lap back. Frauheiger definitely swimming in the deep end, as it were. He's had a rough night. There's a few drivers tonight who have had really tough nights. I mean, overall, Melgosa just being issued a black flag, so I'm not sure what the cause of that's going to be. I don't see any meatballs out here, so nobody's got the pasta and sauce ready to roll. As Craig Bontrager going to get things all stacked up here in just a moment. And folks, we would be remiss if we didn't mention our Warrior Spotlight tonight. John Lawless, a United States Air Force veteran with 22 years experience from 2003 to 2025. First and foremost, we want to make sure that all of you know that we do support our veterans and first responders here at Goat Locker Racing. And John served in the U.S. Air Force for 22 years as a hydraulic maintainer. He completed 5 deployments to Korea, twice to Iraq, Sicily, and Turkey. He worked on multiple platforms like the U-2S, HH-60 Golf, and the HC-130J, and we are proud to have John as a member of the GLR family. And of course, we make sure that all of those donations that you do, willingly give us over on our website at goatlockerracing.org/donate go directly to supporting these veterans and getting them, a community, a sense of community here on iRacing. Of course, a lot of these guys and gals are able to get to know each other in person. And speaking of getting to know one another, they are going to get to know one another very intimately as things are going to tighten up here tonight. 11 laps to go at Iowa Speedway for the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA Series. Live here on V-Speed, Dave Regal with you on the microphone here in the West Division. Bontrager, Threlkeld, Kowser, Jewell, and Holt, they're going to duke it out here for those top few spots as the iRacing.com pace car gets on out of the way. Bontrager comes into the restart zone, runs his foot through the floor, and here we are, green flag in the air with a dime piece left. Kowser peeks to the inside. Kowser thinks that maybe he's got a chance as he's going to get a run underneath Bontrager. He thought he could do it. He now looks to the inside. We suddenly have a three-way battle. Bontrager able to back up to the front nose clip of the 91 as now he has to contend with Threlkeld to the high side. He's got a battle brewing on two fronts, and he's not sure what he's going to do as he now rubs door handles with the 30. A Chevrolet and a Toyota duking it out atop the pile, and now Logan Threlkeld starts to wrestle this lead away from Craig Bontrager. Bontrager able to defend, but all of a sudden he's got all kinds of attackers. It's a swarm of angry hornets behind him here at Iowa Speedway. Craig Bontrager holding off the entire field. Folks, usually we try to look elsewhere, but this is where the best racing of the night is. The 36 of George Jewell now trying to fight the 30 of Logan Threlkel. All of a sudden, Santa's got a target on his back. He's trying to hold off the rest of the field. They've got a four-way battle for third and now fourth position as Threlkeld and Barrett Morton are side-by-side down the backstretch. They're drag racing John Force style into turn 3, and now they're nearly touching wheels coming out of turn number 4. A little bit of real estate between the 30 and the 36, but the 9 thinks better of it, as suddenly we've got another battle starting to heat up for the lead. There are 6 cars and only 5 positions for these guys to get as they fight things out here in the twilight of this race. 6 laps to go from here at Iowa Speedway, as we've got a two-way battle for the lead. Bontrager and Kauser ready to duke it out, and Kauser looks like he thinks he can really shove the nose of the 91 right up against that asphalt at the very bottom of this racetrack. He thinks he's got it, but I mean, he hasn't been down since lap 64. Bontrager, meanwhile, hitting all of his marks just this side of perfectly with now 5 and about to be 4 laps to go. There it is, as he hasn't been down since lap number 30. Now, oh, he comes across the nose. Bontrager gets across the nose of the 91, cedes away the lead, and now Barrett Morton being timed as our race leader with just 4 laps to go. Folks, this is going to trigger NASCAR overtime. Wait till you see the replay of this. I mean, this is just ugly. The 91 gets right underneath the 49. The 49 flies down to try to block and gets tangled up with the 91 of Kauser. Now Kauser going to be left atop the pile all by his lonesome. Meanwhile, Bontrager shuffled back to 6th position as he's going to have to line up behind Santa. As we go back here live, my goodness. Suddenly your new race leader is Julian Kauser, driver the number 91. Barrett Morton has worked his way back up into P2. George Jewell running in 3rd. Tyler Justice in 4th. Logan Threlkeld rounds out your top 5 with Bontrager, Peters, Parks, Holt, and Friel, the rest of your top 10. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and hanging out with us tonight. So, folks, with this, it's going to be NASCAR overtime. We've got 2 green-white checkered attempts, and what that means for you guys at home, that means that when the green flag flies, we're going to have 2 laps to go. We're going to race around back to the white flag. If a caution should come out between the waving of the green flag and the waving of the white flag, we will rack them, stack them, and do it all over again. However, once the white flag waves, the next flag will end the race, whether that flag is yellow or checkered. So, you know, of course, everybody wants to get those 2 laps in, see that white flag fly, and then all of a sudden the gloves from the Glove Station ARCA series come off, and all bets are off. So I'm expecting to see a bunch of torches and pitchforks as the green flag flies here in just a moment. The iRacing.com pace car leading the field down into turn number 3 after the 9th caution of the evening. And, you know, quite honestly, folks, this is not something that is indicative of the way that we race here in this league. I mean, you know, usually we see a lot of clean racing, but we were talking before tonight's race off air, and, you know, a few of us were a little bit nervous. Bontrager is a huge fan favorite. It would be great to see him be able to battle this one back out. And, you know, and overall, I mean, you know, these drivers, they all put the work in. You know, if they were on that 600-pound life, they got to do the work. and many of them put a lot of time in for practice. One of the things that I've noticed over the years, though, is the drivers that say, they don't like a specific racetrack, no matter where it is, they're the ones who put the extra time in. They're the ones who do the extra preparation because they're not as comfortable on a stretch of asphalt. So those are the ones that we suddenly, see in victory lane or on the podium. But, Iowa, usually a pretty good favorite of many of these drivers. And, of course, in the ARCA cars on this new asphalt, laid down here in those bottom two lanes. That's something special. The iRacing.com pace car gets on out of the way. Green-white checker attempt number 1. Off we go. And taking a bump from the 36 is the 91. That might upset the 91 of Julian Kauser, at least maybe loosening the car up a little. As Barrett Morton now creeps to the outside. Morton, who last came down on lap number 82 against the tires of Julian Kauser, who came down on 64. All of a sudden, this is going to be a battle of attrition. Barrett Morton touches the 91. The 91 exchanges paint with the 9. They come back to the line. The white flag is in the air. We're racing back to checkers. Drag racing through turns 1 and 2. Go the 9 of the 91. The 91 of Julian Kauser trying to hold on to the race lead. It may be time out now for Bontrager, who has faded away, but this battle atop the pile is where it's at. All of a sudden, the 9 gets shuffled out of the way. The 33 of Tyler Justice follows, but Julian Kauser crosses the line. The checkered flag waves, and the 91 captures the win here at Iowa Speedway. Julian Kauser, who led just 13 laps, but the most important one, that final lap for sure. As we take a quick peek here at Daniel Parks in the 71, picking up a win as well, getting 7th overall. That seems to be the sweet spot for the AM drivers here in this league, as that seems to be pretty average, as Julian Kauser going to come back to the front stretch and celebrate right here at the Iowa Corn start-finish line. Some racetracks use a checkered line. This one uses a corn line. Julian Kauser picking up the win. Of course, also the 71 of Daniel Parks getting his AM win as we wait for these drivers to slide on in here. I see Julian Kauser sliding in now. Hey, Julian Kauser, it's Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, brother?
Yes, I do.
Hey, man, listen, great finish tonight. I mean, you lead 13 laps with a fast time of 22:83. I mean, what a performance you put on tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Yeah, it was very fast tonight. The car was blazing. Saved a lot of the tires. Tires were a big factor.
Yeah, I mean, you came down on lap number 64, and Bontrager, who you were battling it out with for quite a while, came down on lap 39. I mean, there had to be some kind of a secret that Bontrager had, but I guess we'll never know. How was it battling that out here at the very end?
It was very stressful. I first want to apologize out to the number 49. That was not intentional at all. It was just going into the corner side by side. I feel terrible about that to him. It was fun battling Barrett Morton. It was a hell of a battle. I had a lot of fun out here tonight.
Without a doubt. All right, my friend. Well, listen, congratulations again on the pro win. Before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank and who helped you get it done on the 91 team tonight?
I got to thank my sponsors, Lawson Products, man. I mean, and the team, Lumet Motorsports. I mean, they're always out there coaching me and figuring out what to do at these types of tracks. I mean, we were really slow in practice, and without them telling me what to do, I mean, it wouldn't be possible without them tonight. So, yeah, I thank them.
All right, brother. Well, listen, we will see you next week at Homestead, Miami. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
That the voice of Julian Kauser, and last but certainly not least, our AM winner for the evening, finishing 7th overall, is Daniel Parks. Hey, Dan, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
There we go. We learned the lesson from last week that we need to have our microphone on.
Yeah, microphone on usually helps. It's an audio medium, that's for sure. Dan, listen, I mean, you didn't get to lead any official laps tonight, but you were only off by 500th of a second from our race winner's pace. I mean, that's got to feel pretty good for you, bro.
You know, it was. First of all, I dodged a huge one right at the beginning of the race. I don't know how I missed it. I got a 4X, but I didn't get any damage. And after my butt took a bite out of my chair, kind of settled in there. And yeah, I had so much pace. I was really impressed. And then the way the strategy kind of worked out, kind of put us back there a little bit. And I was having to hustle it there at the end. And the prices up there were a handful. I'm like, oh man, I got to get past these guys. I know they're looking for one, but you know, it was really cool to be up there with those pro guys. I don't know if I want to get moved up, but it was cool to have that kind of pace.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you've got what it takes. I mean, you know, you've got the right equipment in the real world, and you've got the right equipment, you know, between those years of yours. I mean, that's not just a hat rack, man. You made some really great choices tonight, and you did some really awesome racing. Before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank, and who helped you get it done tonight on the 71 team?
So let's start with ARCA and this glove station. You know, if this doesn't happen, this is the most fun series here. I've said that before. Fortunately, I've gotten to talk to you guys more than I expected this year. You know, all the people that put this together, Save 22s on my car, MK Fire Design, Jam Printing and Promotions, you guys up in the booth, V-Speed. I mean, the broadcasts are absolutely brilliant. Love sharing those with friends and family and everything else. Invets. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, I could read the whole list here, but you know, those are the highlights. And you know, thankful for everybody that does this. I look forward to this racing every week. And man, it is so cool to get to talk to you guys multiple times this year. I mean, absolutely blown away by that.
Yeah, man, listen, it's a privilege to sit up here in the broadcast booth and watch you guys do what you do. Because, I mean, you're not Bob Ross. You're a Rembrandt down there on the racetrack, man. So congrats.
Well, thank you very much.
Congrats once again, man. And we will see you next week in Miami.
Let's go. I love that place.
All right. That's the voice of Daniel Parks, your AM winner. And, folks, listen, it has been an incredible evening of racing here, both in the East and West divisions. Sky, I mean, what a performance you had on the East.
Yeah, there was some great racing really in both divisions. We had that long green flag run to start the East race tonight. Like I said earlier, Wesley Burke ultimately won. Mark Whitley, Ryzen Baker, Christian Angel, Sedarius Days, the rest of your top five, with Days being the amateur leader tonight. You can see the pro class right there. The other four pro drivers were Jake Ham, Brandon Wallace, Timothy Wilms, and Jake Ellingson did not finish. I don't think Wilms did either. On the amateur side, Sedarius Days got the win. Mark Cofield second, Carnes third, Patrick Fuller fourth, Unger fifth. Sixth was Colton Sisk tonight. Kyle Deering, Benjamin Richard, Jonathan Lawless, Claire Sisk, Jamie Libke, Alan Smith, Samuel Joseph, Doug Ellingson, and John Herman are the rest of your AM field.
Taking a look at the West side. Julian Kauser brings home the checkered flag on the pro side. He'll be joined on the podium by Tyler Justice and Barrett Morton. George Jewell finishes in fourth with Logan Threlkeld in fifth. Timothy Peters in sixth with Jeremiah Holt in seventh. Jason Kristen, he finishes in eighth with Charles Stevens in ninth. Craig Bontrager, I keep trying to say Kent. Craig Bontrager finishes 10th after starting in 11th. We head on back here into 11th position. And 11th, nope, I guess there it goes, is Daniel Selway Jr. the third. And last but certainly not least on the pro side is Casey Jones, and CJ finishes in 12th on the pro side. Then Daniel Parks picks up the AM win. He's followed by Thaddeus Friel Jr. Alan Bergen getting another AM podium tonight has David Calvert Sr. just behind him in fourth. Brock Price finishes in fifth with Chuck Pegleg Feltz in sixth. Kevin Price finishes seventh. Brian Frauheiger in eighth with Jacob Lenke in ninth. Charles Abert rounds out your top 10 on the AM side, and then 11th on the AM side is Hayden Muir. Armando Malgosa He finishes in 12th with Larry Poling Jr. He's in 13th. Then Azra Nolan, he finishes in 14th with Wayne Newman. He finishes 16th. Noah Hoagie Hogard in 16th. John Houchin in 17th. And Doug Ellingson not taking the start either. He's going to be scored almost last. So, folks, it's been an exciting evening here on the West Division, on the East. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight and making us a part of your evening. I'm really looking forward excitedly to next week at Miami, Sky.
Oh yeah, Homestead is going to be amazing. Homestead pretty much always puts on a show in Goat Locker, and I am very much looking forward to that one.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, congratulations to our race winners tonight on the Pro and the Am side in both division. And for myself, Dave Regal, of course, our producer extraordinaire, Eddie Smith, down in the production truck.
Eddie
and
Smooth.
Sky Shrek. Eddie Smooth it is. And Sky Shrek alongside of me here in the V-Speed broadcast booth. We look forward to heading on down to South Beach. What a great place Homestead, Miami is as we get ready to turn the lights off tonight and tomorrow. And every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't plan traffic. Good night, everybody.